Hi, my name is Vinh G, and I am the director of company here at South Musical Theater. In approaching company, I want to make sure that it is relevant to the times, even though we are set in the 1970s, 1970 actually, on the dot. And with the pandemic happening, it was a time for us to kind of look back and reflect. And I really wanted to find that through line, or that parallel between the disconnection, the social disconnection that was a big theme in the 1970 production. And what a wonderful time to be experiencing that now, or to be dissecting that now in a time where the pandemic has really disconnects us. And so that has been a really fun journey for us to find and bring that perspective of today's and then infusing it to the 1970 setting that we have for the show. So in the late 60s, Sondheim and George Furth, his writing partner, George Furth has written a series of short plays, and it wasn't very popular. It was a flop. And he brought him to Stephen Sondheim, and Sondheim brought it to Hal Prince, which was his mentor, and Hal Prince had an idea of actually writing a musical out of that. And they're basically little snippets of shorter scenes of couples where an outsider comes in and how that changes that relationship. And so what they did was they did all of the they change all those scenes, the smaller scenes, into a musical, and then having one central character, which is Bobby, our protagonist. And we see through Bobby's perspective as he goes and visit all of his married friends. And that's how Company came to be. And Company is a very fine example, even though there are a few shows that came before that has this kind of plotless concept. The idea that solidified the show was that it is a concept musical, that it is, instead of a plot, the show is based around a concept or a theme or a message. And it's very exciting to be exploring that, something that we're not very used to, or we don't see very often in our community theater. The challenge of bringing Company to the stage during the pandemic, well, we had to do a postponement of Omicron, kind of put a damper in our plan, and it was the right thing to do for us to kind of pause the production. We're very fortunate to be able to do a little pause and come back, and hopefully, knock on wood, that it's going to be smooth sailing from now on. But our cast has changed, our company has changed, a lot has changed, and so it's a fun challenge to come back and still keeping with our vision of what the show was, but with a new cast and with a new team, and it's just been very challenging, but also very rewarding. We hope that you get to see that. The rehearsal following Stephen Sondheim's passing, we came in and we sat together as the cast, and we grieved together, and we talked about the wonderful work, the masterpieces that this man has given us in the canon of musical theater, American musical theater, and we were asked to share a lyric or anything, or our experience that we had with Stephen Sondheim's work. And the one quote that I can think of right now is, there's a place for us, a time and place for us, from West Side Story. And that is just such an inclusive quote, no matter who you are or where you are. And that is kind of our journey here as well, right? We are different people, we come together and we make theater, we make magic together. And so that is a message that I always really appreciate. And that kind of lends itself into the theme of, or at least my work process with this cast is honoring who they are individually as human beings, and inviting them to bring themselves into the show and infusing parts of themselves into these characters, these very real characters that they are portraying. So I'm super thrilled about that. What we're doing is has never been done before, a little pause and then coming back. And so there's a lot of, I wouldn't say doubts, but there's a lot of uncertainties, and we didn't know how it's gonna come, like how the dynamics is gonna be. But I'm just so grateful and so thrilled that the cast has just been so eager to tell the story. And now with the passing of Stephen Sondheim, and now with the postponement, there's a new sense of energy and a new sense of urgency that we have in the work that we do. All of our, from our leads to our ensemble, there's no leads, everybody is a pretty big ensemble cast, to our understudies who are just so eager. People are stepping in, people are doing their parts and getting off book, and it's kind of like a healthy competition between people to up their game, and it's just been very joyful to see. And I can't wait. I mean, if this is the level that we're at now, I can't wait for the final production on opening night. So that is something that I'm constantly enjoying and working towards. This show has been a labor of love for a lot of us. The cast, the team, the designers, the volunteers, everybody, we're just so eager, like I say, with that new sense of energy and urgency to tell the story. And so we would love to share it with you. Please come out and see the show. The cast was phenomenal. I'm very biased, but we have the best cast. And I think you're really gonna, it's gonna make you think, it's gonna make you smile, it's gonna make you cry. So I hope that we get to share this production with you.
Phone rings, door chimes, in comes company.